Hi, excuse silly old me. I intended to do this video after the last one last night, but I fell asleep. Clearly the meds. Although I'm only taking the morphine when I need it, but it does tend to knock me out. And I do tend to need it, before I go to sleep. So this video was meant to be a follow-on to the last one in regards to Foodie and Salah, and a little bit more serious in that I know from when I worked in Saudi Arabia how close-knit the families can be, Muslim families can be, and for them to invite you into their home, it's a big thing. There was a couple of people where I worked, and I was invited along with some other people into their homes, and they had to get to know you first, and they had to trust you, and their behaviour as such, their behaviour towards their staff, mainly Filipino staff, who would do the housework, the cooking, and everything that they needed. The family's attitude towards their staff was, and I was shocked really to hear the girl I knew say something about, oh, our servants will see to that. I thought that word had gone out with the Victorians, our servants, and that's exactly how they were treated, as servants. But for us to be invited into a home, it was quite a big thing, and an honour, really. So I'm left wondering about Foodie. Foodie Fatso, the glutton, cannot help herself. How did you go down, addressing you now, Chantal? How did your introduction to Salah's father, I understand his mother's no longer with us. Oh yes, you went to the graveside, didn't you? What a farce that was. But I wonder how your introduction to his father and his sister and his brothers went. Not to mention in-laws and children and extended family. How did the introductions go? We've never actually seen you with a member of the family, ever. That one day you and Salah went out to, what did you call it? The best restaurant in Kuwait. If it was, well, but it was tasteless. All it was short of was, oh no, they don't eat pork, do they? I was going to say, all it was short of was a pig's head with an apple in its mouth. The decor was tasteless. The place itself was a little bit crummy, and the table you were sitting at seemed very pokey, On the one side, you would only have fitted yourself, probably. And on the other side, there would have been Salah, two of his brothers and his sister. on the equivalent side, with Daddy in between. But we saw none of it. We saw no indication that anybody else was there, although you said you were dining with family. We saw no cutlery for other people, or glasses for other people. No chairs. No sign of a sleeve on the table, or the warmth of muted conversation. There was nothing. Yet you said you were there with family, Salah's family. Right, well, we can only surmise, Chantal, can't we? I can surmise maybe a little bit better than most who comment, because I do know how close family is in the Arab community. I do know how contrary, if you like, they can be about who they dine with, who they talk to. I remember being on an airplane once, slightly off track here, and I was sitting next to this Arab gentleman. Now, bear in mind, I was wearing, it was Saudi Airlines flight, and I wore, you know, proper clothing down to my wrists, a longish dress, but I had left my hair loose, and at that time, if you've seen a picture of me floating around somewhere, at that time it was down my back, and it was black, and it was curly. And I can only think that that's what this gentleman took exception to, was the fact that my hair was hanging loose and I was going to be sitting next to him. So I was asked if I would mind moving, because the gentleman objected to sitting next to a Western woman. It's never happened before. And they moved me. I was happy to comply as long as I got a decent seat. And I did, and I moved up to business class. And it was nice. I was sitting next to somebody who's a doctor, and we got talking about various subjects. And the time went very quickly, and I couldn't believe my luck. There I was, sitting in this wonderful seat. The gentleman who complained was still in cattle class, and good luck to him. But this is how they are. They are very family-centred, and it takes them a while to get to know you before they will even accept you sitting next to them. That's what I'm saying. So, all things considered, you met and married. You met Salah online. He asked you to marry him the following day. You flew out a week or so later, and Bob's your uncle. I'm wondering if Bob is your uncle. I'm wondering if Mohammed is your father-in-law. You're very reluctant, the pair of you, to show your marriage certificate online. Why? What does it matter? Prove that you're married, that's all. And you can say till you're blue in the face, it's none of your business, it's none of your business. Well, you make it people's business when you come on here and you say, thanks for watching, thanks for subbing, and to the feeders, thanks for sending me money to gorge. because this is how I fund my life. And you've got a very nice lifestyle, or you could have. I don't think that you met Salah's family. I don't think that they've accepted you. I doubt it very much. You may have met one of his brothers. Possibility, maybe. You, Chantal, are in the thick of everything that happened to me. You and Salah and Murad. With actions that are beyond the pale. You know what the pale is? Outside a village, they would have this moat-like area beyond which you shouldn't go because it's dangerous. You're way beyond the pale. In very shitty area with your big fat legs slowly sinking in the quicksand, which ain't quick enough. Not quick enough. I want to see you get your comeuppance for what's happened to me, for the distress caused to me. There's you, there's Salah, there's Murad, there's the clown Allah. He is like a big round bumbling clown. A roly-poly weevil, an idiot. From what I surmise and what I've seen written about Salah's father and the rest of his family, I feel sorry for them. They've had this mess dumped on them. This mess being what Salah is doing and you. Salah clearly wants to get to Canada. He does. He's told the lovely Missy Moo, hasn't he? And Mr. Moo, both of whom are prolific liars, are sociopathic. They've got no conscience about anything that they do, and they do anything for you, and they have done, haven't they? Haven't they? I know what I know. And I'm waiting for you to get your comeuppance, and it'll happen one way or another. People say that you need karma. You live your karma. You are your karma. You are. You carry your karma around with you every single day. And I'm not just talking about the pounds in weight now. I'm talking about the black-heartedness, the coldness, the lack of empathy, the lack of love, the lack of reality, the lack of anything tangible. You really have nothing except money. And you're probably not going to have that much for much longer. The way that you and Loverboy are going to be spending. Maybe just have that honeymoon that you've never had while you're in the Philippines. Have that honeymoon. Get yourself a swimsuit. Go in the sea. I'm sure you could find, or Salah could find, a very secluded spot. Or even swim in your abaya. Get some water on that body. Get clean, get cool. And I'll continue to watch. And I'll continue to smile. Because I know that it must be very, very difficult to live the way you do. I don't care how much money you've got. I don't care that you're 90-something subscribers and they give you all these views. Go to a couple of the reaction channels instead, maybe. Because then you'll get a commentary as well as pictures of Foodie. You know, you like to do occasionally, Chantal, you like to do question and answer. Right, you and Salah, question and answer. And I guess that you very carefully choose which questions you are going to elaborate on. Let me throw out a challenge to you. I challenge Chantal, Mariam, Mrs. Al Rafa. I challenge you, Chantal, and Salah, to come on and do a live question and answer with me. I'll even wear that Labrador face for you. Well, you'll have to do it because you're knowledgeable about these things. You know that face that you put on me with the drooling jowls? Have a nice weekend. I'll keep watching. I'm going out actually shortly. And I'm going to meet a couple of friends and we're going to have a couple of drinks. Alcoholic drinks. And we're going to have a good time. And it's warm and I've got a summer dress on. Bare legs. At 73. I'm still far more agile, free and comfortable with myself than you could ever be.